In the pre-dawn stillness of a seemingly ordinary Thursday in October 2024, one of Ireland's most wanted cartel operatives woke to the sound of his whole world crashing down. For years, he'd lived openly in Dubai, thumbing his nose at authorities while remaining a ghost to the Irish justice system. But his long game of cat and mouse had just ended. In a meticulously coordinated operation, sparked by an Interpol red notice and executed through cooperation between the Irish and UAE authorities, Dubai police stormed the luxury villa he called home. The front door was smashed in with military precision, and in that heart-stopping moment, the 38-year-old fugitive knew his time was up. The dramatic early morning raid marked a watershed moment in the Garda's unyielding campaign against the Kinahan cartel. With his arrest, the net had finally tightened around one of the cartel's most notorious figures, a major victory in the global fight against organised crime. It was December 2016, just 3 days before Christmas, when 62-year-old Noel Kerwin parked his Ford Mondeo in the driveway of his home on Ronan's Drive, Clondalkin. Beside him sat his partner Bernadette Rowe, who had just accompanied him in dropping off her daughter and granddaughter. The quiet moment was shattered when a shadowy figure emerged from the gloom and approached the car with chilling precision. Without hesitation, the assailant fired 6 shots at close range, hitting Kerwin. While Bernadette miraculously escaped unarmed, Noel never stood a chance. He died on the spot, the victim of a cold-blooded assassination. The murder sent shockwaves through the community, another grim chapter in the deadly Kinahan-Hutch feud that had gripped Dublin. Investigators soon revealed that Kerwin, a man with no ties to organised crime, had been targeted solely because of a photograph. He'd been pictured at the funeral of his neighbour Eddie Hutch, brother of notorious crime figure Jerry the Monk Hutch. Ironically, most of the community had attended the service, and Kerwin's appearance in the photo was purely coincidental, a tragic twist of fate. Had he just taken 2 steps forward, he would have been out of frame, and his life might never have been claimed by the blood-soaked feud. Kerwin's murder triggered an intense Garda investigation, but quickly uncovered the Kinahan cartel's dark hand behind the brutal killing. Yet justice would prove painstakingly slow, as years passed before any cartel members faced sentencing for their roles in the crime. In June 2022, a breakthrough came when Martin Elmer, a trusted neighbour of the cartel, was sentenced to over 8 years in prison. His conviction stemmed from his involvement in Kerwin's assassination and the attempted murder of another associate tied to the Hutch gang. 2 years later, in June 2024, the net tightened further. Declan Brady, infamously known as Mr. Nobody, a former senior Kinahan cartel figure, was jailed for 9 years. Brady had played a pivotal role in the murder, attaching a tracker device to Kerwin's car, which allowed the cartel to execute the cold-blooded hit nearly 8 years earlier. In a grim twist of fate, the gang had initially placed the tracker on a different car, but Kerwin had coincidentally traded it in. Undeterred, they tracked his new vehicle, sealing its tragic fate. However, Declan Brady wasn't the only Kinahan cartel heavyweight to emerge from the shadows of Kerwin's murder. Investigators uncovered the involvement of none other than Sean McGovern, better known as Macca, Daniel Kinahan's right-hand man, and the cartel's second-in-command. Evidence suggested McGovern was present at the scene of the crime, orchestrating the operation and allegedly issuing orders to the triggerman. Irish authorities quickly identified him as a central figure in the murder and the ensuing investigations. Hailing from the Crumlin area, McGovern had deep roots in the Kinahan cartel. A long-time ally of Liam Byrne, he was closely tied to the Byrne organised crime group, the cartel's Dublin branch. Byrne himself would go on to become one of Ireland's most notorious gang leaders before his downfall. In June 2023, Byrne was dramatically arrested after leaving the safety of Dubai to meet family and friends in Mallorca, a move that sealed his fate. McGovern's personal life intertwined with Dublin's criminal underworld as well. He's been in a long-term relationship with Anita Freeman, a fellow Dubliner who was just a teenager when their relationship began. At the time, McGovern was best friends with Liam Byrne, solidifying the close-knit ties of the cartel's leadership. Freeman has also remained close to Kelly Quinn, the widow of Liam Byrne's brother David, further cementing the family's links to Ireland's most infamous gangland network. Liam Byrne rose to lead the Byrne organised crime group and played a central role in the deadly Kinahan-Hutch feud, a war that escalated after the brutal murder of his brother, David Byrne, during the infamous Regency Hotel attack in February 2016. The attack unfolded at a weigh-in for a high-profile boxing event, a gathering teeming with some of Ireland's most notorious criminals. What began as a spectacle of sport quickly descended into chaos and carnage. Disguised as members of the Garda Emergency Response Unit, several armed men stormed the hotel with chilling precision. As gunfire erupted, David Byrne tried to escape through the reception area, but was gunned down in a hail of bullets. One attacker, wielding a high-velocity weapon, shot him 6 times, delivering fatal wounds to his head, face, abdomen, hand, and legs. Even as Byrne lay gravely injured on the lobby floor, 2 additional gunmen entered and fired more shots, ensuring his death in a scene of unrelenting violence. The target of the ambush, however, was believed to be Daniel Kinahan himself. Yet in a twist of fate, Kinahan managed to slip away unharmed. His trusted lieutenant, Sean McGovern, wasn't so fortunate. McGovern sustained injuries from the gunfire, but survived. When approached by Gardaí in the aftermath, McGovern refused to cooperate, maintaining the code of silence that shielded the cartel's inner circle. The Regency attack marked a turning point in Ireland's gangland wars, igniting a feud that would claim 18 lives and forever alter the landscape of organised crime in Dublin. The attack also proved to be a defining moment in Sean McGovern's criminal trajectory, cementing his place in the upper echelons of the Kinahan cartel and deepening his alliance with Daniel Kinahan. As the bloody Kinahan-Hutch feud spiralled out of control, McGovern became one of Kinahan's most trusted operatives, taking on critical responsibilities, recruiting hit squads, managing their finances, sourcing weapons, and delivering progress reports directly to Kinahan. But McGovern's movements since those volatile years have sparked intense scrutiny. He was last seen in Dublin in the summer of 2017, dining lavishly with Liam Byrne and cartel associate Liam Rowe, who would meet an untimely death in August 2024. Shortly after, McGovern relocated permanently to Dubai, embedding himself in the cartel's inner circle. By April 2022, his past caught up with him when a European arrest warrant was issued for his role in the murder of Noel Kerwin. That same month, the United States launched a crackdown on the Kinahan cartel, slapping sweeping sanctions on the organisation and offering a jaw-dropping $5 million reward for the capture of its leaders, including McGovern. Despite the mounting pressure, McGovern has continued to live openly in Dubai, seemingly untouchable and reveling in luxury. His defiance only added to his notoriety, earning him the label of one of Ireland's most wanted fugitives by Interpol. McGovern's longtime partner, Anita Freeman, followed him to Dubai, securing residency permits to join him in his life of luxury. Yet reports suggest Freeman may have since returned to Ireland, facing difficulties reclaiming her seized home on Kildare Road in Crumlin. The house, once tied to the Byrne organised crime group's assets, was confiscated by the Criminal Assets Bureau, CAB, in 2018, as part of their crackdown on the cartel's illicit empire. Investigators uncovered Freeman had been paying rent subsidies into Liam Byrne's bank account, further linking her to the criminal web spun by the Byrne Group and the Kinahan cartel. Before CAB officially seized the house, its fixtures and fittings, right down to the kitchen and bathrooms, were stripped out. The property was later sold to Dublin City Council, where it sat empty for years, a haunting reminder of its sordid history. All the while, McGovern's absence was conspicuous during a deeply personal moment, his father's funeral in November 2022. Gardaí, suspecting he might risk returning home, kept a close watch. Surveillance teams monitored the port of Rosslare, anticipating his arrival, while others staked out the Our Lady of Good Counsel Church in Drimnagh, where the funeral service was held. But McGovern, now a fugitive living openly in Dubai, never appeared, leaving Garda efforts in vain and further cementing his role as one of Ireland's most elusive criminals. Within the Kinahan cartel, Sean McGovern wielded immense power, serving as Daniel Kinahan's most senior and trusted lieutenant while residing in Dubai. His influence extended far beyond mere loyalty. McGovern was deeply entrenched in managing Kinahan's sprawling business empire and maintained close ties with other prominent cartel figures, including Ross Browning. Browning, a stalwart of the organisation for over 2 decades, added a layer of intrigue to McGovern's circle. He shared a childhood friendship with murder victim Gary Hutch. Hutch's brutal assassination in November 2015 is widely regarded as the spark that ignited the bloody Kinahan-Hutch feud, and Noel Kerwin's murder in December 2016 only solidified McGovern's critical role in the cartel's escalating violence. But McGovern's list of alleged crimes doesn't stop there. Beyond his suspected involvement in Kerwin's execution, he's believed to have masterminded an attempted hit on James Mago Gately just 4 months later. This failed assassination revealed the extent of McGovern's reach and ruthlessness. In the Gately murder plot, McGovern teamed up with West Dublin crime boss Peter Keating to establish a support network for Estonian hitman Imre Arakas. Arakas, a seasoned assassin, was flown in to eliminate Gately, but the plan unravelled spectacularly. Garda intelligence thwarted the operation, and Arakas was arrested before he could strike, leaving Gately alive and exposing McGovern's intricate web of criminal operations. The reach of Sean McGovern's criminal activity stretches far beyond the shores of Ireland, with US authorities turning their attention to him as well. Accused of materially supporting and financially backing Daniel Kinahan, McGovern was one of 7 top cartel figures hit with financial and travel sanctions by the US government in 2022. Labelled an international drug baron, McGovern was implicated in trafficking massive quantities of cocaine, a key player in the cartel's global operations. Yet despite the pressure from authorities, McGovern and the inner circle of the Kinahan cartel managed to remain untouchable for years, living openly and lavishly in Dubai. The city had effectively become the cartel's headquarters, offering a level of freedom and security that allowed them to operate with relative impunity. While European law enforcement collaborated with the UAE on paper, real action to capture the cartel's members, including McGovern, remained conspicuously absent, until now. In a dramatic turn of events, McGovern's reign of freedom came to a sudden and shocking end last October. After years of evading justice, he was arrested in a no-warning raid at his Dubai residence, signalling that the law had finally caught up with one of Ireland's most elusive and dangerous fugitives. Sean McGovern stands accused of orchestrating and directing the activities of a ruthless organised crime gang, playing a pivotal role in the Kinahan cartel's operations. Allegedly, he was instrumental in planning hits, identifying targets, and acting as a trusted advisor to Daniel Kinahan, managing communications on his behalf to further the cartel's violent and illicit empire. If convicted, McGovern would become the highest-ranking figure within the cartel to face legal consequences, surpassing the convictions of Thomas "Bomber" Kavanagh. Kavanagh, the former mastermind behind the Kinahan cartel's UK and Ireland operations, once controlled the empire from his sprawling mansion in Tamworth, near Birmingham. Recently, he was sentenced to 6 years in London, following a failed weapons plot. His associate, Liam Byrne, was also jailed for 5 years in the same case, though UK law mandates Byrne will serve only half of that term, just 2.5 years. Bomber, however, wasn't so fortunate. His 6-year sentence will be served consecutively after a 21-year prison term for conspiracy to import €36 million worth of cocaine and cannabis. Additionally, he's serving time for possession of a stun gun and a suspended fraud charge. All told, Bomber is already serving 24 years, a sentence that will also be halved under UK law. McGovern's close ties to the cartel's leadership, his long-standing partnership with Daniel Kinahan, and his relationship with Daniel's father, Christy Kinahan Sr., and his brother, Christopher Jr., further amplifies the significance of his arrest. Nevertheless, in 2023, the simmering tension within the Kinahan cartel reached a breaking point. Christy Kinahan, the cartel's patriarch, began to suspect that someone close to him had turned traitor. His paranoia grew as he became convinced that one of his own was feeding authorities vital intelligence on the cartel's money laundering schemes and other illicit operations. Despite the fact that an arrest warrant had already been issued for Sean McGovern by Irish authorities, Christie's suspicion fell squarely on him. The Dapper Don had begun to question whether McGovern might be the very snitch leaking critical information to law enforcement. So far, however, it doesn't seem like Christie has taken any action. Despite the mountain of evidence and serious charges against Sean McGovern, his extradition from Dubai remained frustratingly out of reach for years. Ireland's lack of an extradition agreement with the UAE complicated matters, but that didn't deter the authorities. For over a year, the Department of Justice worked tirelessly behind the scenes to secure his return. Though European arrest warrants don't extend to the UAE, extradition can still be pursued on a case-by-case basis through bilateral agreements. Irish authorities, comprising the Garda, the Department of Justice, and the Department of Foreign Affairs, made persistent efforts to bring McGovern to justice. The situation escalated to the point where a senior Garda officer was stationed in Abu Dhabi, marking the first time the force had established a permanent presence in the Middle East. This move underscored the urgency of dismantling the Kinahan cartel and tackling Irish crime syndicates operating across the region. It was a clear sign of the global scale of the cartel's activities and the need for unparalleled international cooperation. The road to McGovern's extradition was riddled with delays and frustrations, until now. His arrest marks the most significant breakthrough in the Garda's relentless pursuit of the Kinahan cartel, coming more than 2 years after it was revealed that the DPP had directed charges against him for the murder of Noel Kerwin. McGovern's extradition also sets a historic precedent, becoming the first from the UAE to the Republic of Ireland. Security sources suggest that McGovern's extradition is being closely watched as a test case, paving the way for a future attempt to bring Daniel Kinahan back from Dubai. As McGovern awaits the final approval of his extradition, he is held at Dubai Central Prison, better known as Al-Awir, a notorious hellhole where conditions are nothing short of horrifying. Former inmates have publicly described the nightmarish treatment they endured in the prison, men being brutally stabbed to death, inmates subjected to electric shocks on their genitals, and corrupt guards turning a blind eye while fellow prisoners were attacked. The prison is said to be controlled by Russian gangsters, who allegedly use HIV-positive inmates to infect others as a form of punishment. There are also disturbing rumours of prisoners being forced to sign documents in Arabic at gunpoint. Though these allegations have been denied by Emirati police, the chilling tales persist. Inside Al-Awir, life is a daily torment. Prisoners are required to have shaved heads at all times, with severe punishment for letting their hair grow. Women inmates are reportedly forced to wear head coverings, while basic privileges are few and far between. Phone access is highly restricted, and the few who are granted calls or visitors are often left isolated for long periods. Cells, designed for just a few, are overcrowded, with as many as 20 prisoners crammed into spaces meant for only 3 or 4, forced to even share the beds. However, despite the nightmarish conditions in Al-Awir, McGovern is expected to challenge his extradition, and is far from certain it will actually be sent back to Ireland. The UAE's often made extradition decisions based on its political alliances, with negotiations sometimes hinging on a complex web of deals and mutual interests. I'll be sure to keep you updated on any developments. That was it for today's video. What are your thoughts on today's topic? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see our next videos.